From the BBC World Service, in association with ABC and Akashvani, this is Stumped.
Hello and welcome to Stumped. I'm Alison Mitchell in London, and with me from Sydney for the ABC is Jim Maxwell, and Charu Sharma for Akashvani is with us from Bangalore. Now, we're continuing our build-up to the Women's World Cup, which takes place at the end of September in India, and we're focusing on England this week. The team's been going through what has been described as a transition period, with new captain Nat Sciver-Brunt and coach Charlotte Edwards appointed in April. Well, since then, England have won 2 series against the West Indies in both T20s and ODIs. But they have lost in both formats to India. And there's been a lot of criticism about England's fitness and fielding as well, which we'll get to in a moment. But when I spoke to the head coach, Charlotte Edwards, I began by asking just what type of challenge a World Cup in India will pose to this England side.
Having played there myself quite a bit and obviously played in a World Cup there myself, it's going to be a big challenge. I think we're playing at many different venues as well, sort of north and south of India and over to obviously Sri Lanka. So obviously the spin aspect's going to be a challenge, I would imagine, the pitches. So we'll have to wait and see till we get there to see what sort of pitches we're put on, etc. But I think it's a great challenge, a great place to play cricket. I think it's always a place that I have many fond memories of, and obviously with the WPL and how that's accelerated sort of women's cricket in India over the last 3 years, I think we're in for a fantastic tournament.
Yeah, when you look back to the 2013 World Cup that was staged there, how different are you expecting this one to be?
I would imagine very different. I think, we were playing in front of reasonably small crowds at only a couple of venues. I'm expecting big things from this World Cup, and I think if they build on what's happened from the WPL, I think we're in for a fun few weeks.
There's a number of unknowns. There are some knowns, and that is the quality of your captain, Nat Sciver-Brunt. And in Indian conditions, she was the lead scorer this year in the WPL as well. Just a word on what makes her so special as a batter.
She's incredible. I mean, her mental capacity is more than anything. And I think we've seen over this summer, Nat's had quite a lot thrown at her this summer, and the way she's sort of dealt with that, she's so calm. But in terms of her cricket, I think her game really suits India. She loves playing spin. She's sweet. She's got all the game to play in those conditions, and quick outfields. It makes it very, very difficult to stop her when she gets going. But she's had a great time out there in recent times, and I know she's looking forward to playing out there in the near future.
How crucial is her bowling going to be? Is she on track to be bowling at the World Cup?
She absolutely is. She's bowling. She was bowling in practice the other day. She's probably done about 3 or 4 sessions now, so things are looking really, really good in that respect. She is massive. I'm not going to lie. The balance of the team is massive. We've looked at the team this summer and in all the ODIs we've played, and looking at different combinations we could play. But ultimately, with Nat bowling, it does add that extra element, and potentially you can play 7 batters. So she's crucial, but we're putting no pressure on her. We've got to just get Nat right. I mean, first and foremost as a batter and a captain, and the bowling is, if she comes through, which she will, it's more about workloads. It's not been about a massive injury. It's more about her workloads and making sure that she is ready to fire come October.
And how the two of you gelling as a captain-coach combination? Obviously, she picked up a bit of an injury during the India series, so missed some matches there. You've had different captains that you've been working with as well, but how do you feel the two of you are gelling?
Yeah, really well. I mean, we've known each other a long time, obviously worked really closely throughout the WPL where she was vice-captain. And, we've got a very chilled relationship. And what's been lovely is the fact that, most things we talk about, we're on the same page. And I think that's one of the big things for me is you think on similar lines. You can have disagreements about certain things, but I've been really pleased with how, our conversations have gone so far. Obviously, we've got World Cup selection coming up. That's going to be obviously a big moment for us. But yeah, no, she's going great. But as we all know, Nat is, I always say she's like Superwoman, how she deals with everything in her life. But she's unflustered and just very calm, and she's great to work with.
The results of the India series didn't go your way. How much of a sort of blow was that? And I suppose the attention that is on the England team now, and particularly when success doesn't come, this is very different to even when you were in the squad as captain.
Yeah, it is very different now. But we didn't play well. Certainly in the T20s against India, they were really really good, and I think that's what frustrates me at times is that sometimes the team can be better than us, and I think they certainly were. They played some really good cricket. Yeah, we didn't play at our absolute best, but we had a couple of injuries certainly in that T20 series that kind of didn't help our situation. The ODIs I thought was a fantastic series. It could have gone either way right till the very end, and that's what we want to. They're the games we want to play in. They're the games that certainly I learned from going into a World Cup. And for me, it was great to play the West Indies. We had great success, but massively challenged, and that's how we want women's cricket to be. I want to be turning up to games and having to really perform at our best to win games. So. But yeah, it was a great series and one I've learned a hell of a lot from.
Has it helped you to decide what your best 11 is? I know you said immediately after the series that you were getting there.
Yeah, I am. I'm getting closer, and we're getting closer as a selection panel. I think to what that team and squad may look like. I think that's the great thing when you're put under pressure. You see players in different situations. I'm obviously still watching the 100 now and looking at performances and how people are performing, because that's ultimately, when I came in, I wanted us to play more. I wanted us players performing, and I think the more we do that, the more we're put under pressure, the more we'll deal with that pressure when we're put under it in the big moments. So I'm really pleased with where we're at.
I guess fielding, the idea of that fitness and agility side of it as well will come very much to the fore in the 100. Is that still very much a work in progress for your England players?
It is. It's something that obviously we've got that tag now, and I think at times I get frustrated because I think it's going to be one of those things that you can field really well and we drop one catch and we're still not a very good fielding team, and I don't think that's the case. I think we've not fielded well at times. We've done some really really good stuff. We're working hard, incredibly hard behind the scenes to keep pushing this team, and sometimes those things don't happen overnight, and we've got to keep working hard, and I'm really confident that we can get ourselves into a place where people are talking really positively about our fielding.
And has the job matched up to what you thought it would be, Lottie, when you first took it on? How has it compared to being the head coach in the domestic setup as you have been around the world?
I've loved it. I mean, it's been busy. I think I took on the role on the 1st of April, and I think I had my first sort of week off last week. So it's been full on. I've loved it. I've loved being back involved with England, and I've come in at a very busy time, straight into two international series, and then obviously planning for a World Cup. So I mean, it's everything I thought it would be. But yeah, it's been fantastic, and I'm just learning all the time and loving the role.
And just a final thought, when you're talking about spin being such a key factor for this upcoming World Cup, what are you expecting from Sophie Ecclestone? Because she hasn't had the easiest 2025 just yet, with off-field as well as they're coming back on field after a bit of a niggle injury as well. What are you hoping from her, and where is she at, do you believe?
She's in a really good place. I think we all saw her come back into the India series and perform really, really well. She's enjoying her cricket again, which is the most important thing to me, because I think that was a big thing, having the winter she'd had and a few struggles. But I think we've got Soph back, smiling, enjoying cricket, and that's important for us as a group. And she's going really, really well, and hopefully keep performing well in the 100. And really happy with where Soph's at.
And so overall expectations, has the India series sort of been a little bit of a reality check about where you are as a team?
I don't think a reality check. I know that India are going to be one of the favourites to play. We know we can beat them. We've beaten them and we've pushed them in all the games we've played against them this summer. So I'm really comfortable where we're at. I knew when I took on the role what I'd taken on, and I'm really comfortable that we're going into a World Cup where we know if we play our best we can beat any team in that World Cup.
Lottie, thank you for being with us on Stumped. Good luck for the rest of the preparations.
Thank you.
So that was England head coach and former captain, of course, Charlotte Edwards, speaking to me about the upcoming World Cup. England, I think, will always be looked on as challengers, won't they, due to the professional nature of their domestic system now. And Australia have been, way ahead of them, yes, on that front. India now with the WPL, but so many countries are way behind on that professional domestic front. England were beaten finalists at the last World Cup in New Zealand. The T20 World Cup of last year was not a good tournament for them. And on recent results, they're going to have to find a better way. Holding on to catches, making catches, being clean in the field is a big part of that. Jim and Charu Edwards did say that we know if we play our best, we can beat any team. So, Jim, how do you reckon England may fare come India?
They need their trumps to stand up. People like Siva Brunt and, well, you mentioned Heather Knight there coming back. I don't think they quite have the depth of some of the other sides. Well, certainly not Australia. No one has the depth of Australia. But on their day, they can be very competitive. They need to show a little bit more athleticism in the field, not only with their ground fielding, but with their catching. Very important. But yeah, they'll be competitive. I mean, there are only a couple of teams I think that can win it, but they're up there. And I just hope that they all stay fit. That's the big thing. One thing I did notice just the other night about this South African team, and maybe it flows out of the success they had at the final at Lords, but they seem to be a very happy, collaborative brand of cricketers. They love playing with each other. They show the pleasure of playing cricket. So I think they need that kind of rub off, and that comes with having some success. So if they begin well, they're in the game. Let's hope that happens, because all these tournaments are much richer for the fact that teams play to the level of their ability. And England haven't done that for a while in major competition.
It's not just going to be the day that you play well. It's got to be consistency. And England had that in the past. And I wonder why they're losing it now. Maybe a little bit of complacency against a team they'd beaten regularly in the past, or maybe is it too much cricket? Is it reserving some for the 100 that was to come? I'm not too sure, but they do seem below par, that's for sure. Also a little impatient, if I may say so, based on the series against India, just jumping down the track and trying to hit it big very often rather than just working players around. So without getting into too many specifics, it does look like there's, to me, and I beg your pardon if it's untrue, a lack of hunger. It's like they're just going through the paces. They seem to be enjoying playing with each other, as Jim mentioned, the South African men do. I think almost all women's teams seem to be enjoying themselves a lot more than the men do. It's just out there. There's so much more emotion and happiness. So I don't think that's a problem. But where's the hunger? And I don't think it's personal either, because they've got, England's had a head start over most countries in terms of the number of players and the depth. So I'm sure that's there. It's just they need to be more hungry and more, at the same time, more patient in the field when things are not going their way.
I feel like they're all adapting to playing a much greater volume of cricket than they ever have done before, and volume plus intensity of cricket because of the professional setup now, the focus that is on the 100. Used to be that internationals were the only time when the cameras were on, internationals, World Cups, and domestic scene was much quieter. Well, now there is an awful lot of travel involved. It is an adaptation into this new modern professional era of being a female cricketer in the English system. But Jim, one thing there was that Charlotte Edwards didn't seem too concerned about the fact that Nat Sciver-Brunt won't have bowled competitively before the World Cup. I mentioned it being the Ashes the last time she bowled in a match. But England, you alluded to it before, they really will need her to be the complete all-rounder, won't they?
Well, she's not Ben Stokes, but she's a similar influencer at her best. They need her to be bowling. They need her to be performing. She's an inspiration. So, yes, she has to be bowling as well as batting. We all know how well she can bat. And it's that kind of thing that is going to elevate them because, as I say, I don't think they really have the depth in terms of star talent in that side. So they need to have the inspiration of the better players to get everyone else pushed along. So let's hope that Sciver-Brunt is okay to bowl and bowl influentially as well as she can bat and dominate the opposition. But yeah, it's another one of those cases in that particular team. The better players need to be really influential if the team is to be successful.
Well, that's all we've got time for on this week's Stump. So my thanks to Jim Maxwell and Charis Sharma, and to all of you. And we'll do it again next week. Until then, bye for now.